Hi everybody, how are you doing today? I want to read you a story and then we're going to do a science experiment. This story is called Who Sank the Boat by Pamela Allen. Let's find out who sank the boat. This book was published by Putnam and Grosset Group. Who sank the boat? And there's a bay. Beside the sea, on Mr. Peffer's place, there lived a cow, a donkey, a sheep, a pig, and a tiny little mouse. They were good friends. And one warm sunny day, in the morning, for no particular reason, they decided to go for a row in the bay. Do you know who sank the boat? Which one do you think? Was it the cow who almost fell in when she tilted the boat and made such a din? No, it wasn't the cow who almost fell in. Do you know who sank the boat? Was it the donkey who balanced her weight, who yelled, "I'll get in," at the bow before it's too late? No, it wasn't the donkey who balanced her weight. Do you know who sank the boat? Was it the pig as fat as butter who stepped in at the side and caused a great flutter? Uh-oh. Was it him who sank the boat? No, it wasn't the pig as fat as butter. Do you know who sank the boat? Was it the sheep who knew where to sit to level the boat so that she could knit? No, it wasn't the sheep who knew where to sit. Do you know who sank the boat? Was it the little mouse, the last to get in, who was lightest of all? Could it be him? You do know who sank the boat. And there they are, all soaking wet, heading back to Mr. Peffer's farm. Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And now we are going to do a float and sink activity. So I have a jar of water. You can use a bowl and put some water in it. If it's clear, then you can see things, whether they float or sink. And I have a page here. Now on this page, it's like a fish tank. But you don't need a fish tank to do this. You can have any bowl or any jar. And then there's a list of things here. I've got some things here, and we're going to see if they sink or float. So we're going to make some predictions. So let's start with a little paper clip. Do you think that's going to sink or float? Make your prediction. Did you guess sink? Yes, it sunk. How about, let's try a spoon. Do you think this spoon will sink or float? Let's see. It floated. Yes. What about a marble? Will the marble sink or float? You got your prediction made? It sank. Let's try the dinosaur that I got from Gunner. This is a crayon. Do you think it's going to sink or float? Let's find out. It sunk. How about a rock? Do you think the rock is going to sink or float? Let's see. Did you guess sink? It sunk. How about a button? Do you think the button is going to sink or float? This one's made out of coconut shell. Let's see what it does. It sunk very slowly. How about one of these, a spring? Do you think that's going to sink or float? Ready to see? It sunk. How about a pencil? Do you think this will sink or float? Let's see what it does. It floated, didn't it? How about a block? Do you think the block is going to sink or float? It floated. How about a ping pong ball? Will it sink or will it float? Oh, it landed on top of the spoon. Will it float by itself? Yes, it does. Very good. Do you think this is going to sink or float? Yeah, it's a little toy jet or plane. Let's try it. It did sink. Very good. All right, I'm going to pull out the things that are floating here. And let's do an experiment to see what will sink our little boat. So I'm going to use a little milk cap. Now, do you think that's going to sink or float? If it floats, then we can use this as our boat. Did it float? Yes, it did. So let's use some coins and see if the coins sink or if they float. And how many, the coin will sink. Let's just check that. Yeah, it did sink. So these are good things to put in our boat, and we'll see how many we will put in there before our boat might sink. How many do you guess? What is your prediction? Do you think 4? That boat will be able to float 4 before it sinks? 1? 10? Whoa, let's find out, okay? So we'll pretend this one is the cow. Come on over here, boat, and let's put you in carefully. Did the cow sink the boat? Nope. Let's try this one, the donkey. We'll pretend, oh, it did. Yeah, it sunk the boat. So how many things, how many coins did it take to sink that boat? Just 2. I would like you to do this experiment at home. We can use a bigger boat this time and see how many it will take. Let's see. There's the donkey and the cow. That's 2. And the pig. That one was bigger, and it took 3 to float. It could hold more than the little one, couldn't it, before it sank? And it just dumped them off and stayed on top. So have fun with sinking and floating today. I hope you will do this experiment. Remember, I love you. You are so precious to me. I miss you all so much and wish I could give you a great big hug. Bye for now.